Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Mistonia's Hope. Luckily, we're back, because today has been a fucking nightmare trying to get my recording software to work with my capture card to get it so I can even record anything, and then I have now had to restart the recording like 6 times because the music was janky like 10 seconds in. I sat here for a full fucking minute. I guarantee you it's gonna go janky in like a minute or two, and like, it's really annoying. We're not having a good day here. I swear to God, I guess, I gotta start the long process of trying to find a new recording software, and that's a pain in the ass because I paid for this fucking one. So, but it sucks with my capture card, and I don't think it's my capture card. I think it's this, but I can't use the NVIDIA like one that I have because that's an overlay. So I would have it's not gonna pick up my capture card, and I hate the NVIDIA one the Elgato one that they have, their 4K capture. That one's garbage. There's no volume controls. There's no nothing. It's like, what a piece of shit. Like, that you have to change the volume manually every single time you come in to record. No. That is bullshit, and it's been like this for years, and people have been bitching about it. And I'm like, I thought it was just me. Like, everybody else is like, what the hell? And it's a downgrade because the one that I used to have for my capture card when I bought it years ago was nice. I didn't use it because because I couldn't use it for everything. So it was like, then I have this on one thing and this, and I would rather just have one recording software that I do all my stuff in, you know? But yeah, I'm tired of fighting with action, like, with my fucking capture card, because I really feel like it's actually, like, right now, it says my input device is my webcam. It's my capture card. Because it changed something in the process at one point where it's like, it will not ever pick up my capture card if I do not say it can have access to my webcam. I mean, I have a little cover on my webcam, but I don't want anything to have access to my webcam. I don't even want a fucking webcam on my computer. I don't want that at all. So it's really annoying, but it won't register my capture card if you don't say it can have access to your webcam. And half the time when you plug it in, you're like, I click on the capture card and the little light for my webcam comes on, like my webcam's on, and I'm like, that's my capture card, and you have to fight. Yeah. So I have a feeling it's my recording software, not my capture card or anything else. It's literally, this is garbage for picking up capture cards. Honestly, I don't think we had it would take a while sometimes for it to pick up and connect. I don't think I've half as many problems until it changed and forces you to have the webcam attached, because it's probably, like, again, it's trying to pick up don't pick up that. I don't want you to have access, but I am so, and like when I tried OBS, when I first started recording years and years ago, I was like, I hate this. They're so like, this is simple and easy. That's all I want, is simple and easy, but it's also like, doesn't work with my capture card. So like, what the fuck? I do not have the tolerance or the patience right now to try to fuck with something new, but I also don't have the tolerance and patience to spend 15 minutes fighting with this every time I want to record a game. Like, so annoying. Anyway, maybe we'll be able to get through this. Music sounds fine right now. Oh, surprising. Anyway, later that evening, I don't remember what happened yesterday, I went out for a little late afternoon shopping and met up with John, whom I'd already contacted with a pocket watch, in a quiet corner of the park to avoid being seen. That's a long-ass run-on sentence. And that's what happened. Opportunities like this are rare, so I'm taking this chance to meet the queen. Oh, right, we got invited to the ball. And I saw, like, because when I was waiting for this to connect, I had to run through the opening credit scene, like the theme song background, whatever, like 3 or 4 times. So they do really quickly show Tia and Oberon, right? And I was like, oh, and they go through so fast, but she doesn't look like what we look like. She got like red hair, I think. So she doesn't have like, the blonde hair that we had. So, because that's what I was wondering when I was like, I wonder what she looks like, because Oberon and John look identical. So I would not be surprised Like, if John is his clone or whatever. You know what I mean? Or whatever they call it. But, like, yeah. But, like, okay. And I was like, so I wonder if, because we're the descendant of hers, if we look, but we don't. So, anyway. It's too soon and far too dangerous. I'm against this. John opposed the idea, as expected. A strange sensation came from the pocket watch, just as I prepared to patiently persuade him otherwise. Realizing it was a sign from him, I sighed. I wasn't sure what he was thinking, showing up at a time like this, but I couldn't disregard him. I took out the pocket watch. I think it's funny we're still like, him. What? Are you against this too? I opened the watch's lid and called out to Robin Oberon, who popped out a moment later. Quite the opposite, actually. I'd like you to go. I'm glad you agree, but you're being awfully casual about this. Are you saying it's safe as long as the meeting's quick? I'm not claiming this is completely safe, but I believe you're capable. Besides, you got your face on hand. There's no point in dragging this out forever. If Tia finds out, then so be it. Let's just get things moving. He's like, let's kill my bitch of a wife. I mean, you want your wife's downfall. Is it because, like, she's lost her fucking marbles? Or, like, I mean, I don't know. Those were the exact sort of irresponsible words I expected from him. For once, I agreed, though. After all, he was backing me up. So, I went back to persuading John. You heard him. So, can I go? Dad, please. John glanced at the Robin, then back at me. He furrowed his brow, face filled with concern. I really, really don't want you to go. But just don't do anything reckless. This was a difficult choice for John, but he finally relented. That said, I'll make sure to stay as close as I can that day. I'll have Gunnar help find me a spot where we can stay hidden. And like the Fae King said, even though you have your face sight, I know, I won't use it unless it's absolutely necessary. I think you have more pressing matters to worry about. Oberon, who had been flying back and forth between John and me, suddenly chimed in. I tilted my head, confused. He continued amusedly. I go they just actually show him bopping around. Have you learned the proper etiquette for the palace? Your behavior could catch Tia's attention, even if you don't intend it to. I'm still the daughter of a noble, you know. I learned all of that when I was a child. I couldn't say for sure whether or not I still remembered everything. Felt like he was making fun of me, though, so I snapped back at him. Oberon acknowledged this without remorse. No, that's true. Well, I guess there's no problem then. Having said all he needed to, Oberon circled around us before abruptly vanishing into the pocket watch. Silence settled between John and me now that the ever-talkative Robin had disappeared. I'm still against it, to be honest. John voiced his disagreement with the decision that had been made. I know. I'll be really careful. I concluded that this was just his worrywart side showing and gave him my usual response. Preparations for my participation in the ball, etiquette lessons in particular, began in earnest the following day. Dear God. I have to tell you, I'm also in an extreme fucking physical period cramp pain right now. Like, holy fucking shit. It is god-awful. I took, to a leave, 30 minutes ago, and they are not kicking in, and I feel like I'm gonna die. So, if you hear me grunting or whining in the background, or while we're doing this, oh God, I'm gonna die! That's why. It's not the game. It's literally my uterus is trying to rip itself free from my body, and I wish it would, so I never have to deal with this again, because I fucking hate this thing. God, it's so awful. I want to cry right now. Oh my God. My duties as a maid were lightened. In exchange, I had a tight schedule of lessons that started in the early morning. The instructor for my etiquette lessons was Nicholas, who was extremely strict. He had me repeat my bows and greetings. Then he asked me a question, his gaze piercing. I've been mulling this over for some time now. There isn't much for me to correct in terms of your manners. Have you perhaps received instruction elsewhere? I can't be honest with him. Miss Verde taught me. I learned from a textbook. Who's Miss Verde? Who's Miss Verde? Is that supposedly like the house where we came from or something? I have no idea. Miss Verde taught me. Yeah, that sounds probably a little more legit than I read a book and learned. You can learn and try from a book, but you're still going to need corrections. But someone teaching you is going to be a little bit better, you know? I've been under Miss Verde's strict guidance since I decided to come here. She told me servants at House Bernstein had to carry themselves with dignity as important people from all across the land visited the estate.
Ah, I see. Knowing Miss Verde, I can see her making such a thoughtful gesture.
Nicholas seemed satisfied with my explanation, but a chill ran down my spine nonetheless. Only now did I realize how my actions could raise suspicions about my identity. I'm surprised I still remembered so many things from my childhood.
Now we'll move on to walking. First, try walking naturally from one end of the room to the other.
Very well. While I doubted my walk could give away my true identity, my heart raced slightly as I stepped forward. Despite the early hour, the door opened quietly. Look at you training so diligently. Lily stepped into the room, her stride light and elegant. She greeted Nicholas cheerfully. What do you think of her, Nick? I believe she has a great deal of potential.
I agree, Lady Lily. I've observed her walk, and her posture is solid. She must have a strong core. However, she lacks the grace expected of a lady.
Oh, really? Well, let me show her then. There's a trick to appearing graceful, you know. The critique felt harsh, but as she was willing to teach me, I listened without protest. After breakfast, my training continued. Lily had left, but Nicholas remained at my side.
Your table manners are acceptable, but your mannerisms as a lady still fall short. Continue practicing until I return.
Understood. Nicholas was set to accompany Edmund on an outing after this. He wouldn't be back until noon, leaving me with nothing but intense training until then. This is going to be quite the challenge. Though I would have preferred to return to my duties as a maid, I couldn't simply give up. Thus I continued walking back and forth across the room. Looking at myself in the mirror, I don't think I look that bad. So what's the problem? Lady. What is it that makes a lady graceful? I felt I was at something of a dead end. I heard the door open and glanced behind me, thinking Nicholas had returned. However, Edward and Linus came in. I heard you've been spending a great deal of time with Nick, getting constant training. Are you managing all right?
You're attending the ball, yeah? We were quite surprised when we heard about it. We thought we'd check and see if there's anything we can help you with.
I appreciate the concern, but I'm merely practicing how to walk properly, so I don't require any help at the moment. However, I'd be grateful for a little advice, if it's not too much trouble. I could tell that they were genuinely worried, and frankly, I didn't know what else to do, so I ended up asking for some guidance. Both Linus and Edward showed great enthusiasm in lending a hand, as expected. If that's all, then it's not a big deal. By the way, what has Nick said about your progress? He said I lack elegance. Faint bitterness showed on my typically stoic face, which seemed to give the two of them a clear sense of how frustrated I had become.
I see. Yeah, I can't quite understand. It's too abstract for me. We want to see you walk too. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a different impression than Nicholas.
Understood. I'll give it a try. I walked around the room just as I had done for Nicholas and Lily. The pair currently watching me voiced their thoughts. How should I put this? The way you walk may be a bit too brisk. Try walking a bit slower, perhaps.
Oh, maybe try shortening your stride a little. It seems to me that ladies don't usually take such long steps.
Speed and the length of my stride. I suppose you're right. Who's laughing at us? A muffled laugh echoed from the entrance just as I received clear advice. Oh, of course. And here I was wondering what in the world you were doing. Looks like you're having a fun time, huh? But isn't your advice missing the point here? Should have assumed it was Ascot, because there's no way that, like, I couldn't see Alfred busting and laughing at us, but it would be kind of fucking funny. And there's no way Lucas would walk into a room that other people were in. He'd be like, he'd open the door and be like, I hear people, and he'd fucking bolt, so. And what point is that? Edward asked, his tone unusually annoyed. Ascot completely ignored him, instead coming closer with a suggestive smile. If she needs to appear ladylike, then she should be more bashful. Bashful? Oh! When I asked him to elaborate, he took my hand and kissed it. Didn't he do this when we first met him? So this is basically like the same thing, but in the different room. He did the same thing when we first met, yeah. Back then I'd simply stared, face blank. This time, however, I shot Ascot a glare. My thoughts were full of reproach. What on earth was he doing? A loud, exasperated sigh echoed about the room. See, there you go again, making that stern face. At a time like this, a lady would either blush and look away, or smile. So to him, a perfect lady would be one of those maidens who fawn all over him. Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that we're not that. It's so refreshing. We're like, what the fuck? And he's like, see, a lady wouldn't say what the fuck. She'd be like, oh, Ascot. Like me inside. I took this with a grain of salt, since I wasn't familiar with that kind of thing. Still, I couldn't help but wonder if I should practice blushing for the future. You can't force a blush. No, don't listen to him. That sounds like a biased opinion. Oh, that sounds like a biased opinion, Ascot. I agree. Any woman would be angry if they were suddenly kissed without permission. I mean, a kiss on the hand is like polite society thing. Like, it depends. Maybe not in this society, but that same thing you see. Like, oh, I will take your lady hand and bend over and like gently plant a kiss or air kiss your hand. That's like a rich people in ye olde times gesture. So now maybe that doesn't fly in this society. Ascot's from a whole other world, but he's not like other boys. Unable to stand it any longer, Linus and Edward decided to intervene, only to have the conversation turn to them. They're more, Linus is like, this makes me uncomfortable, and Edward's like, how fucking dare you touch her? You know, fight over me a little, I like it. How about you give it a try then? She might be cold toward me, but she's actually listening to your advice. Maybe she'll have a different reaction if you two kiss her. Come on, Ed. You take her right hand. Lynn, take her left. Now, that would probably be very awkward. Huh? What? He didn't even ask my opinion. Both of them somewhat panicked when they were forced to take my hands. They froze in place, unsure whether or not they should let go. While a kiss and greeting may not have been anything new to them, they had likely never been told to kiss someone like this. We're all just standing here holding hands awkwardly. We stood there holding hands and exchanging glances. Edward and Linus's cheeks turned red before mine did. What's the point if you get embarrassed before she does? And this is hardly any sort of training. You're the one who ruined it. He's right, Ascot. Please stop teasing us novices. We're not that far apart in age. Good grief. You two are such virgins. No. Whore. Even Edward and Linus grew frustrated with Ascot's ridiculous comment. Honestly, I wish they'd all just leave. I let out a soft sigh as I watched the three of them argue. And I like the fact that normally we'd be like, oh, well, this is awkward and I don't know what to do. And now she's like, oh, dear God, fucking men. I just love how she's so frustrated and annoyed with them. You know, it's just fun. Eventually they left. After a while, Nicholas returned and informed me that training had concluded. I made my way out of the great hall and went to work. That was when I bumped into Alfred and Lucas, who looked so grumpy they might as well have been comparing frowns. It seemed like they had just stepped outside during a break in a meeting. I nodded and tried to pass by. I love the two grumpy boys, and I love the fact that they constantly have lovers' quarrels. Hold on. For some reason, he stopped me. You look pretty tired, don't you? You sure do. I heard you're attending the ball. Why don't you just back out now?
Even if it's under your lady's orders, it's still not part of your job, is it?
Are they worried about me? I was surprised. They weren't harsh towards servants, but they wouldn't normally bother talking to them unless it was absolutely necessary either.
One shouldn't try things they're not used to. Ever heard the phrase, beyond your means?
Not that I care, but you should just quit. The lack of malice was itself villainous. I can tell they're concerned, but the way they say it is annoying. I know, because, I'm glad they're pointing out, are they concerned? Are they worried about me? Because the way Alfred is saying this is really douchey. So annoying is an understatement. Because, he's coming across like a dick. You shouldn't go. It's beyond your means. Whatever. Instead of being you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You could just say no. That's valid, but it's you could just bow out because this is beyond your means. You suck at this. What the? Where? What? Sir? Just not being very tactful here. Maybe he doesn't have any. He is our marshmallow character, so, they don't usually come with a lot of tact, so. I came to realize that what I was doing was foolish, but it was too late to back out now. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. However, this is something her ladyship truly wishes for, and her majesty has given her approval. I shall do my best not to embarrass her ladyship, at the very least.
You always speak so sensibly. But do you really have no will of your own?
You're this is my will, though. You're well, nope! She's thinking, this is my will, but I can't say that. Because that's going to open doors to questions I don't want to answer about stabbing all y'all.
I hate to say it, but I do agree. You're like a doll.
Are they mad at me? I responded respectfully, but deep down I thought they were being unreasonable. My expression must have given it away. Both seemed slightly flustered when they spoke again.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Suggesting you go against your lady's wishes was completely out of line, and the way I said it was outright disrespectful.
I love the fact, though, that she just has a little, what the fuck look on her face, and they're and they're trying to make it right, damn, her, little pouty face makes them get all fakakted, and I love it. Again, this is great. They're the ones acting like little blushy messes, and I am here for this little flip.
Exactly. We have no right to interfere in the matters of another household. I forget we said anything. Though if you were to fall ill on the day of the ball, I doubt anyone would blame you.
Lucas is I ripped this page specially out of my playbook for you. These two are surprisingly expressive. Their kindness is easy to see, even if it's hard to understand. For a moment, I felt like I was witnessing something amusing, but I realized I was the one who had dragged them into this and was responsible for them wearing these expressions. Once I'd realized this, I didn't feel like I'd gained much of anything. Thank you for looking out for me. Now, if you'll excuse me. After offering my thanks one last time, I hurried away. I headed to the dining hall to prepare for lunch. Evelyn and Charlotte had already begun. When they noticed me, they approached, eyes sparkling. Hey, just a second. You've got to tell us what's going on. It must be exhausting, right? Working after attending etiquette lessons? Working isn't stressful for me. It's actually a relief. Here we go again. You're lucky it's just the three of us here. If the other maids hear you, they'll be mad, you know. And why is that? I asked Evelyn to elaborate, not quite understanding her point. She didn't stop working, but she smiled and explained enthusiastically, because we get to go to a ball and dance with hot, gorgeous rich men. Because, I'm here for that. You're making your debut in society. You might attract the attention of some charming men there, right? If that happens, you'll be joining the nobility. You'll be like the protagonist of a fairy tale. We kind of are. It's not really a fairy tale, because there's a lot of wanting to stab in it. But, to be fair, fairy tales have stabbies in them, too, so it's just not usually the Disney princess, but I can hardly believe such a sweet turn of events is so close at hand. I think one of your romance novels has a similar plot, Evelyn. But if things unfold the same way as the novel, doesn't that mean you'll fall in love with the person escorting you? I didn't bring that up on purpose. After all, if you're being escorted, it must be someone from the mansion, yes? That'll definitely pique the other's jealousy. Depending on who it is, someone may even faint. I love this. This is so funny because they're like, yay, you're going to a ball. And we're like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, what'd I get myself into? Can't I just wear pants? I like wearing dresses, and I think any day is a good day to wear a ball gown. So, but still, You have a point. Have you decided who you're going to ask to be your escort? Okay, so I'm going to guess the difference in every route is who we ask to escort us. That's how you push into a certain character's route. I only realized this was just a decision I needed to make after they'd brought it up. I haven't asked anyone yet. Her ladyship will probably choose someone for me, so I'll just do as she asks. I thought I was being realistic, but it seemed they wanted a different response. Oh, come on! Fantasizing about this kind of thing is fun! Now then, who's your choice? Do tell! I want to know too! I suppose this is what you consider typical conversation among young ladies. You're like, again, I haven't had typical conversation because the only lady friend I had was Goneril, and she's really more an informant, and my only friend was John, and we really didn't gush about boys. We talked about how to make them gush when I stab them in the throat, and how to properly, make their, gut blush, turn them into the gushers. I'm not used to gushing myself, so this is weird. It's a weird turn of events. I love the absurdity of it all. I felt like I had learned something, but even though I was part of the conversation, I found it hard to match their imagination and excitement. Nonetheless, I came to a conclusion after recalling everything that had happened. I'd prefer not to go with Lord Ascot. I thought, I'm like, are we going to get a choice here? Or she's going to say, I prefer not to think about, or I don't want to think about, but just straight up like, not Ascot. My poor whore boy. Oh no. Huh? Why? To put it your way, there'd be a lot of jealousy. There were other reasons too, such as his lack of reliability. Evelyn frowned when I gave this neutral response regarding his fondness for women, however. You really don't get it, do you? Lord Ascot is probably the one who causes the least amount of jealousy out of those 5. He's very popular and quick to court women, but none of them are truly of interest to him. No one would mind if another person entered the picture. In that regard, someone like Lord Edward would be much riskier. Oh, I think I get it. If he suddenly showed up escorting some unknown girl, it'd cause quite a stir. I see. I understand now. The funny thing is, when they're talking about jealousy, I was thinking about, if I choose, Edward, all the other guys are going to be jealous. That's what I thought they were going for. But it's more like, oh, if you show up on this guy's arm, all the women around them are going to be jealous. You're going to get jealous women. Okay. See, here's just me being like, ooh, I'm going to make all the boys jealous. When I pick one of them, the other ones are going to be jealous. Like how John is just jealous that I'm in this house full of hot men right now. He's jealous of all of them for being anywhere near me. Fair enough. He's probably jealous of Oberon, too. He's like, that bird. Sir, it's a bird. I mean, he is the Fae King, but when he shows up to me, he's a bird. So, simmer down. But he's a male. I thought they were talking about the boys are going to be jealous of each other. Because we've kind of already seen the way they get a little weird with each other when I'm around and the subject of conversation, oddly. It's very light. It's not super, anything deep. It's a very, light sprinkling. It's a dusting, but it's there. You can kind of, the vibe's there. So that's right where my mind went. Now we're going to roll up on Edward's arms and all the bitches who were in love with him are going to be, random other women we don't know are going to be jealous. I don't care about those random other women. Thinking about the characters we know. Oh my god, but that's valid. We show up on Ascot's arm, they're gonna be like, oh, it's a flavor of the day. Oh. But I was like, no one would be jealous. I'm like, if we chose Ascot, the other men in the house would be like, well, I don't know if they'd be jealous so much as the fuck is wrong with her? So, Anyway, I'm glad you do. Now you need to think about it more carefully. Evelyn seemed to be enjoying this despite her stern tone. The conversation continued as we carried on with the lunch preparations. After lunch, I was once again caught up in a situation I never saw coming. 3 people were in front of me, Edward, Linus, and Ascot, and the reason I was facing them... Well then, how about we start with practicing the waltz for now?
Dancing isn't my strong suit, so I may not be the best practice partner for you, but I'll do my best.
And that's why I said I'd be your partner. I don't even mind if it's just the 2 of us.
Yeah, I mean, the dancing you want to do is not involving a dance floor. Well, unless I'm on the dance floor and you're on top of me. Like, we've already settled that matter, haven't we? Seeing Edward take a jab at Ascot, his expression tense, reminded me of their bickering that morning. It'd help if I could read sentences properly. But also, see, again, this is why I get when they said the jealousy thing, I'm like, if we chose Ascot ever, like, because Ascot's like, you and I could just dance alone. And then Edward's like, don't you fucking dare. I think it's less that jealous that Ascot would be spending time with me alone and more like, I don't trust Ascot around women, and this woman works for me, and therefore I will protect her from you, you pervert. But there's probably a little sprinkle, again, a dusting of jealousy in there. Honestly, I just needed someone to teach me how to dance. Anyone will do. They were here to teach me how to dance as part of my lessons for the upcoming ball. It all began with Lily's statement after lunch. Oh, right, you need to practice dancing as well. Can anyone help her learn? I was caught off guard, and it took a moment for me to react as I served them. By the time I'd realized she was talking about me, Ascot had already raised his hand. She's like, can someone volunteer to clean the gutters? Like,
In that case, I'll be your partner.
I'm thankful for the offer, but I have to wonder if there's a reason behind it. Yeah. I hesitated for a moment, wondering whether or not I should accept his offer after his past behavior. That was when Edward interrupted. Oh, wait a moment, sister. Does she really need a dance part? Does she really need dance practice? Well, it'll be a problem if she can't dance when the time comes. She needs to practice properly. And that's not what I meant. Did Her Majesty say anything about this? Lily said she'd gotten permission to take me to the ball. Why is he asking? Something about their exchange nagged at me, like something stuck in the back of my teeth. Lily smiled with a knowing look. Oh, I see. It's all right. I'll try asking Her Majesty again. Very well. In that case, I shall teach her how to dance. I didn't really understand what they were talking about, but Ascot voiced his dissatisfaction before I could ask anything. Yeah, this is a curious conversation, so put a pin in that to remember later. I'm going to forget it, but just for you guys, remind me. It'll be 2 weeks after that comes up again, that then we'll be, because we're ahead, I'm trying to get ahead for, like, Christmas. You know what I mean? So that, like, we're not behind when I come back from, like, Christmas break. And I like to stay ahead anyway, you know, just in case there are days like where I can't record or something happens, or I'm just like today feeling extremely searing, goddamn awful cramp pain where I probably shouldn't be recording, but I'm trying to distract myself. But like it goes away for a minute and you're like, oh, and then it's like, hi, and you're like, fuck. Oh,
But the bird has been very nice to me today, haven't you, Booger Face? Yes, you have. You know, you're like, oh, my mommy's grumpy today. Yes. No, don't bite the headset. Don't make me mad at you. Don't bite the headset. If you want to talk and say hello to the people, you can chirp. But you don't bite the headset. Nobody wants to hear that in their ear. You can chirp. You can say hello. You don't ever say nothing. You just grumble when I mumble. Anyway. Well. Are you trying to interrupt? I believe I'm more than worthy enough to be your partner.
If you're saying I'm interrupting, then I think this isn't just about dance lessons anymore. Yeah, well, he was going to try to teach us the horizontal tango. Being alone with a man will probably make her feel nervous, so I shall help as well. Linus, who had been quietly observing the situation, raised his hand enthusiastically. Can someone teach me how to dance? In that case, count me in too. How about you, Alfred?
Having more teachers won't necessarily make anything better. I'll pass. You know what? And that's why you're so ridiculously sexy and I love you. Because you just said no. You're like, you're going to pass? You want to say no to me? God, that makes me hotter. Gotta give the bird a break. Hold on.
You got a potty break? I know, it took us so long to get this thing running that you were very patient and very good. Thank you. Good boy.
He was also getting a little fidget. I know when, like, if he's sitting here for the whole hour just snugged, no fucks given, he's fine. But, like, if he starts getting a little moving around and fidgety, it's like, get him to a potty so he doesn't have to, like, you know, poop on me by accident or whatever. And it took forever to get this running. So, like, I make sure he goes before we come upstairs. But, again, it takes 20 minutes to get this thing to fucking work and, like, connect and everything like that. You know, that's 20 minutes that he sat there patiently not pooping on me. So, anyway. After the meal, everyone would teach me how to dance aside from Lucas, who was absent, and Alfred, who had declined. I'm like, Lucas? Nobody asked Lucas, but they knew not to. Edward and Linus had likely stepped in because they assumed Ascot was going to seduce me like he did with other women. I couldn't quite figure out what Ascot was up to either, and since I couldn't completely rule out him hitting on me, I accepted their offer. Now that it's come to this, I just want to start the lesson as soon as possible. Certainly before Ascot does something that starts another argument like this morning. Edward stepped closer to me. Very well. I shall teach you the basic steps first.
That might be a good idea. Ed is faithful to the basics and his smooth, clean steps. He's an ideal first practice partner.
To my surprise, Ascot backed off easily. I accepted the suggestion and started practicing with Edward. Is this your first time doing a waltz? There's no need to be so tense. Just try memorizing the steps. I shall give it a try. Don't blink at me with those beautiful fucking eyes. Look at those giant baby blue eyes. Like, what the fuck, sir? They're like glowing. I moved my feet as I was taught. 1, 2, 3. However, I was so focused on my feet that I ignored my upper body. What seemed simple turned out to be quite challenging. When I tried focusing on my upper body, my feet got tangled. This is like, okay, so like, I feel like I can dance. Because like, sometimes with dancing, it's like, unless it's a certain dance move or something. But you know what I mean? Like, you just turn on music and you just move your body. You just dance. It doesn't have to look hinged. You could totally dance unhinged. Whatever. Everybody can technically dance. Okay? Might not be well. You might not be like dance troupe or ballroom dancing, like, well, you know what I mean? But you can dance. But I feel so uncoordinated if I'm trying to do, like a dance workout video or something where they're like, okay, you're moving on. I'm like, I'm always, wait. Then I can't coordinate my upper and lower body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just doing it on your own and you're like, okay, you move your lower body this way and your upper body this way, and you're just like, okay, you're just doing it. You could totally just doing it, but when you're trying to follow instructional steps, you're like, somehow everything gets jumbled in your brain, and you are like, I'm just flailing. I'm pretty sure I have some old Zumba DVDs or whatever from like 100 fucking years ago, and like, every time I've tried doing them, I'm like, I am like a train wreck. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to dance to the music in the room while they're doing it. But when you're trying to do the moves, you're like, okay, you like your left body goes to, like your lower body, you're like going to step to the right, but you're going to like put your left arm out or something. And it's like, I can't. And then I think it's also because you're watching them and you're trying to like mirror what they're doing. And then it's like, you're like, okay, right. No, wait, your left, my right. Wait, which one? So I feel her here where you're like, my upper and lower body don't want to work together when you're trying to focus and learn something. But if you're just like, turn on music and jamming around your house, oh hell, you got the moves. You get like everything, because you're just like not thinking about it, but when you're trying to focus, it's fucking impossible. Then you're like, I can't do it if I try to focus. Like, I just got to be free. Like, and probably look ridiculous when I'm dancing. But like, whatever, you know? Anyway. Whoops. Are you alright? My apologies. I'm afraid I may step on your foot if I focus on my upper body too much.
Don't worry about it. In fact, I believe stepping on my foot a little will help you learn. Edward brushed off my apology with a laugh, but if I ended up stepping on his foot by mistake while dancing, it would definitely hurt. I'm sure his shoes are protecting him. With that in mind, I moved cautiously. We practiced that way for a while.
Would you mind if I were your partner next? I noticed something while watching you.
Linus then stepped in, replacing Edward, and gently took my hand.
Hey, you got some good reflexes, don't you?
I don't think they're bad.
If that's the case, your body probably remembers the steps Edward taught you. So, from this point on, try following my lead.
Your lead? I shall give it a try. I nodded. The next moment, Linus glided across the great hall with smooth steps. His movements were less like dancing a waltz and more like gliding through the air. His hand held my own, and I ended up following his rhythm. I think moving's easier like this. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I was following the steps correctly, but I was getting away with it, and it felt so much easier.
You're doing great. Good job. Now, have fun. Whoa!
I see you're getting the hang of it now. I'll be your partner for this last round.
God damn, he's so fucking hot. Before I knew it, Ascot was beside me. He caught me in one smooth motion as I twirled while dancing with Linus. The way he naturally pulled me in by the waist was so smooth. I couldn't help but be amazed as I followed his skillful lead.
See, what?
She's fallen a little. She's like, the way he pulls me in by the waist and his skillful lead, and she's like, girl, there is, her focus, but there is a little portion, that's us, in the back of her mind that's like, oh. It might be shoved in a box in the back corner of a dusty closet, but that voice is still there. Okay.
And I taught you the basics, so I'll teach you the tricks of dancing.
Look at your little serious face. God, you're so pretty. Although, I'm still looking for the purple in his eyes when it's like his red and purple eyes. His red and purple hair, his eyes are still so fucking gold. Guys, I'm still trying to look for how they color-coded his eyes. It's, again, they're gonna gaslight us and tell us, like, Edward has gray eyes and Alfred has blue eyes. That's not... Nope. Alfred has green eyes. I noticed. I'm like, I don't know if I ever noticed in his sprite, because I don't think he's been this close to us. But, like, in the... Oh, no, in the first CG, when he first showed up. But, like, I noticed in the thing today when the credit scene, the opening scene was going on, and I was like, oh, hello! like I didn't register that before, but now it's stuck in my brain. But then, every time Ascot came up, I'm like, yeah, I don't see that red and purple or whatever colors they said were his eyes. Like, nope. I wish they had done, like, it's a minor nitpick, but, like, get it right, guys. Get the writing and the art together. Work together, people. You're a team. Anyway.
When dancing, you should look your partner in the eye.
Like this. Neither of them are saying anything. This must be important. I'm nervous for some reason, because you're looking a gorgeous man in his beautiful eyes. This was different than the elegance I'd felt with dancing with Edward or the excitement I'd shared with Linus. This was calmer, yet it left me unsettled. Ascot didn't say anything further. He gave me a quick smile and let me take the lead. I see. His dancing might be the most fitting for a ball in a sense. He guided his partner effortlessly, accentuating their beauty. His occasional glances seemed to convey something, despite never saying a word. That's why he's a flirt, because he's very good at seduction. What's happening? I'm not sure if I want to keep looking at him or not. I instinctively averted my gaze, and Ascot stopped moving.
I say that was a job well done for your first lesson.
You did great, Space.
All you need to remember is to have fun dancing, and you'll be fine.
Thank you. With that, the trio's dance lesson came to an end. For now. Having finished the lesson, I prepared a single serving of food and headed to the drawing room. Pardon me, may I prepare your meal? Oh, sure. Lucas, who preferred to eat alone, was ready to eat a late lunch about an hour later. Now that my lesson was finished and I had some free time, it was my job to serve his meal. I hope we didn't cook it. Please tell me somebody else made the food and we just put it on a plate. We didn't actually make it, right? We just served it, right? Please don't kill him! I mean, she might want to, but he doesn't deserve it yet. He might not ever. Lucas had been eating quietly, not speaking at all since his initial comment. It's kind of weird that he prefers being by himself. Edmund had been eating alone lately, but that was because he was busy. Additionally, he had been discussing work with Nicholas, who served his meals. In Lucas's case, though, he deliberately avoided the other members of the 5 houses, despite being able to eat with them. It just showed the extent of his dislike for people. But his tendency to be alone can actually be beneficial to me. I carried a basket full of bread, caught up in my own thoughts. I almost stumbled. It seemed that the dancing and unfamiliar high heels had taken its toll on me. What? Hey! Did he just catch me? Are we in his arms? Oh, hi. I get to dance with the other 3, so it's only fair that I get to be this close to you 2. What the heck are you doing? I didn't fall, though. Lucas stood quickly and caught me in his arms. My apologies. I hadn't expected to stumble. I quickly steadied myself and apologized, but it's sweet of him to have caught you, because, instead of, still eating and being like, yeah, okay, they're dumbass, you fell on the floor, and I'm appalled. God. Servants just fainting left and right. Assholes. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I mean, not all rich people are douchebags, but, a lot of rich people are douchebags. So, when they're nice, normal humans, we have to point it out. Lucas let go of my hand, but he didn't move away. Instead, he gave me a piercing look. If we had stumbled in front of Edmund, he would have kicked us into the fire, okay? That's all I'm saying. That was really careless. What happened to your feet? He must have noticed my unnatural movements, as his gaze was now directed to my feet. I suppose I couldn't hide anything from him, considering how he'd saved me, and decided to tell him the truth. I danced in shoes that I wasn't accustomed to. Looks like I've injured my feet. My toes throbbed in pain now that I was paying attention to it. Suppose I needed to get it treated once I finished my work. That's because you're doing something you're not used to. I don't know why, but I felt like he's making fun of me. Look at him smiling, though. He gave a rare laugh, all due to my failure. It was a bit of a blow to my pride. Forgive me for asking, but does that mean you're proficient in dancing, Lord Lucas? Lucas was caught off guard for a moment, but he soon twisted his lips into a sneer and answered in a challenging tone. Are we going to dance now? Are we going to dance with everybody? I thought when we went to the ball, maybe we would dance with everybody, but I like that we're practicing. It's kind of fun. You sure have a lot of nerve. Fine. If you insist, I'll show you. Huh? Lucas took the basket before I could say anything and placed it on the table. I like it. We're like, do you dance? And he's like, bitch, I'll show you. We just asked. We asked a question. I'm sure she said it slightly snarky, though. To be fair, but still. Then he took my hand and brought us somewhere more spacious. No way. I didn't have time to prepare myself before I was pulled into Lucas's arms and was swept away in a light, rhythmic waltz. I love the fact that we get to be this close to all of them. You're quite skilled. Any noble can dance like this. I wasn't merely flattering him, but giving a genuine compliment. Lucas's steps were as precise as Edward's, and his ability to lead rivaled Ascot's. Above all, his guiding hand was warm. It was a warmth that carried a sense of thoughtfulness. How strange. Feels like something similar happened a long time ago. Again, you put a pin in that. That goes in the stack of people we probably met when we were really young and just don't remember. You know? And to be fair, if we knew them when we were really little, you know what I mean? Oh, okay, we're dancing together, haha, whatever, you know? Or again, we don't know that, okay, we met them when we were part of House Randolph and it was part of the 5 houses. It could have been, because again, we don't know the timeline. It was like, the queen tried to lure us away. Our family was like, what the fuck? Took us and ran and hid. and like disappeared. And then the queen put out that they were trying to kill me. We got to kill them because the audacity of them taking us away from her, right? And I'm guessing nobody else in the five houses knows that story that we're her vessel type of a thing, you know? So they're just like traitors. Oh my God, right? So then 8 years ago, they find everyone, kill everyone, whatever. But we don't know that, like, again, the time period of like, how old were we when my parents disappeared? It was 15 years ago they disappeared. But we don't know. I mean, like, I'm assuming she's probably like not like 15. Like, and I can't believe we'd be like 16 or something. Like, I feel like that's far-fetched because the queen would have had to have tried to lure us away. We'd have to have at least been 2. You know, 2-year-old kid, you could kind of be like, come on. And then they're capable of making decisions, not good ones. You're a toddler. But you can ask a toddler, which shirt do you want to wear today? And they could pick out one, even if, you know what I mean? Like, you could let a 2-year-old dress themselves, you know, right? You know? Like, a 2-year-old is conscious enough for, like has a social awareness enough for, like, someone to be like, here's some candy. Okay! Like, where if the queen was like, she agreed to stay with me, you're like, but that doesn't count. She's 2, but, like, I could at least speak and say, yay, I want to stay with you, you know? As opposed to, like, an actual infant. So there's no way we'd have to be at least 17 years old. But they have never told us how old she is. So, like, we could be 17, 18, 20, we don't know. So, if we were only a couple years old, if we were, like, 2, when our family ran away, okay, the chances of us having interacted with any of them, maybe. But that would explain why we don't remember it, but also, like, there might be a couple years older or whatever, but, like, why would we at 2 have been dancing with Lucas, who might have been, like, 4 or something? Like, we don't know ages here, aside from Alfred's age. You know, it's weird that they've told us his age, but they don't tell us anyone else's age. You know? Huh. So, but at any rate, like, I guess that's the time. It really just depends. So, like, we could have, if we were like 4 or 5 when my family ran away, so we're like 20, you know, then, okay, yeah, we might have interacted with them once before when we were like 4 years old. And that would explain, we don't really remember because, you know, those memories aren't important, you know, whatever, but we interacted with them and it's somewhere in there. It could have also been something of the fact of, because I'm also thinking like Linus's first love. You're like a toddler and you have first love and you remember that? Again, we remember some shit, but you generally don't remember a lot of it, you know? But it could be also too like, oh, you're out playing out in your town and somehow, I don't know how you would have accidentally run into a couple of them, because again, it seems like she constantly says things are familiar with something similar with Lucas, and I feel like it pertains to him, not anyone else. Linus's first love's probably us. She thought when she saw Edward was like, wow, he seems familiar. So it's like, I feel like there's something about the 3 of them, we may have met them before. And again, makes sense. Alfred would have been older, probably never interacted with him. Ascot didn't exist in the 5 houses. He's a newbie here. But these 3, it would make sense, were around the same age where we could have interacted with them. But again, it depends on the timeline. But we just know it was 15 years ago our family disappeared. Yeah, but we don't know how old we are to gauge, like, where in the timeline we could have met them. You know? Was it before we disappeared? Was it for some reason we're out playing in the woods somewhere and they're out wandering around for some reason, kids in the wood, and we run into them and we're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Because again, kids just play with other kids. You know, and it's like, why were they anywhere near? Or then they were, and then maybe that's how our family was found. Oh no, because remember, we were all there and we made friends, and then we went back and told our parents we met these kids, like this kid in the woods, and then they knew it was you, and then that's how they found you or something. You know what I mean? Like, because that could have been it. You know, oh, you're just out playing in the woods around your town, and you run into these 3 other kids, and so you're playing whatever. You're just playing in the woods until you got to go home. And then they go home and they're like, yeah, we met this cool girl. She's like blonde and like whatever. And then they're like, oh, that's the stolen child. And then my family gets murdered. and you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it could have happened that way. We don't know. We don't know in the timeline where we possibly would have met them before. But I feel like I don't have a lot of doubts that we met them at some point in time. It's just, how does it play out? You know what I mean? So, anyway. Something similar happened a long time ago. Yes. Oh, okay. Or she's... Oh, okay. Never mind. So, all my speculating. And she's like, oh, right. It was when I danced with my brother. But again, okay, maybe the dancing is dancing with your brother, but she said something about meeting Lucas and it was something familiar. Like, but I still am keeping in there, like, I feel like we're gonna find out that she has met Edward, Lucas, and Linus before when they were kids. Maybe not all three of them, but at least someone in that group. I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely Linus. We're his first love. No question. I don't have a doubt in my mind about that. And if they tell me it's someone else, I would be shocked as fuck. Okay? But I feel like it's probably us. Okay? And so I feel like we've met at least the three of them before. So, she might be explaining this away right now from us, but you're not taking away my, like, theorizing on that, so. The memory rushed back. The dance had been nothing like a waltz, but was more of a playful dance. Now that I think about it, brother would be around Lucas's age if he were still alive. Thank you for saving me when I stumbled earlier. Okay, so that means, because she was like, well, she could have been like 8 to 10 in that little flashback. We have no idea. But then again, then she'd only be like 16 and she was, I still just, that timeline doesn't line up for me if they're like, oh, she's only 16. That doesn't line up for me. Like, when the queen's trying to get her to stay, you're trying to get a 1-year-old? They can barely sit the fuck up. I don't know a lot about kids. It's been a long time since I was around, like, babies or young children. All my nieces and nephews are older. You know what I mean? But, like, but still, it's like, I don't think that that's gonna fly. But, like, again, a 2-year-old maybe. So I'm like, but, like, whatever. But, like, our brother seemed, like, if she was, say, 10 and our brother was, like, at least, so, like, well, okay, yeah, because then, like, I was like, our brother was, like, our brother seemed like a young adult. He seemed like he was, like, 18 or 20 in that, you know what I mean? But I don't think that that'd be the case. But if our brother was, like, 16 or 17, then, like, yeah, early 20s, okay, I could see that maybe. You know? Thank you for saving me when I stumbled earlier. I wish they would fucking tell you, but maybe it was the memory that made me say it, but my words of thanks slipped out naturally. As for Lucas's response, he glanced at me, said nothing, and continued dancing. He really is pretty, even with the bags under his eyes. It adds like a little, like, dark, ethereal quality to him. I hadn't intended to get sentimental, but I found myself immersed in the dance, feeling oddly at ease. I planned on getting some rest after serving Lucas, but I reconsidered and found myself back in the Great Hall. Thinking about my brother is a clear sign that I've let my guard down. I need to get moving and refocus. Since I wasn't resisting anyway, I figured dedicating myself to a solo dance practice session only made sense. The pain in my feet had lessened after tending to them and switching shoes. I figured I could dance. Let's practice for an hour. Nevertheless... Oh dear, I can't tell if I'm dancing properly with no one else around. No matter how many times I repeated the steps Edward had taught me or went through my dance with Linus, my body still refused to move the way it was supposed to. Is Alfred going to come in so we can have a dance session with him? Because I feel like it's only fair. I guess practicing a dance is hard without a partner. In comes partner. I was about to give up, but then... Told you. Spacey is psychic today! I mean, it was the obvious conclusion after dancing with Lucas that there was no way they were going to not get away with this. Come on. I heard a knock and turned to find Alfred standing at the door, which had half opened without my noticing. I heard something and got curious, so I came to check. Are you still practicing? I dare say you needn't be quite so eager, though. I wanted to review everything while it's still fresh in my mind. The words that escaped my mouth sounded like an excuse. Alfred sighed and stepped closer. Your hand? Huh? Give me your hand. I'll accompany you. Thank you. This was quite a surprise. I never expected him to offer to be my partner, especially after he turned down the invitation at lunch. You were sitting there oh my God, you were sitting there preening yourself, and I could just feel this giant pin feather, and I was going to try to sneak it out, but I can't. You're going to bite me. Sorry. He noticed he never takes his hat off. Since I had indeed been hoping for a partner, I didn't want to waste this opportunity. Here we go, getting close to our boyfriend. I mean, we are going to marry this man first, so. Alfred took my hand and effortlessly began to dance in a graceful, effortless rhythm, making full use of his tall frame. If it's not too much trouble, I'd be grateful if you could point out my mistakes. I asked for advice after we turned a few times, but the feedback I received had nothing to do with my movements. Smile. A lady doesn't dance with such a straight face. I should have been grateful for the advice, but as she smiles, and he's like, not like that, it looks like a grimace. I can't tell him that he's frowning too. It must have looked quite strange from an outside perspective as we danced, our faces completely devoid of expression. He's like, smile, and you're like, you're not smiling. Like, I wish she had said that. And then he's so beautiful with resting bitch face, though. I love the resting bitch face, boys. Don't leave. Are you kidding? Really? That was like a half a second. What the fuck? Anyway, that's okay. We're a little over time, but I figured, we could go a little bit, but I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.